So yes, I got another Mercedes, and it might have been a mistake.
Get ready! Extreme automotive addiction! Yeah!
First things first, let me just apologize for the fact that I'm holding the camera. My tripod actually broke before the last video, so that's why I've been doing it this way. I'm gonna have to look around and find a suitable replacement, so bear with me on the shaky camera stuff and what have you. We'll get through it together, I promise. So yes, right here behind me is a 2003 Mercedes SL55 AMG. Now, I don't know much about Mercedes, but I do know whenever you see AMG, that's impressive, I think. I don't know, but this car, the specs on it, was pretty impressive for 2003 actually. It is a 5.4 liter V8 supercharged, developing 493 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. It actually needs that power because it's pretty much a heavy pig. Most Mercedes are. It's about 4,200 pounds, so it needs that power to motivate it, but it does so very, very well. And quite honestly, in 2003, these cars were considered supercars. I mean, they're governed at 155 miles an hour, but take the governor off, and they're supposedly capable of over 200 miles an hour. Now, this is actually a hard top convertible, which actually works out quite well because I ended up trading the Cadillac XLR for this car. And you guys might remember my wife really liked the Cadillac a lot, and part of the reason she liked it was the hardtop convertible, so it made it a little easier sell for this car since it is a hardtop convertible as well. Now, I did have to pony up some cash, and quite honestly, it looks like I'm going to be ponying up some more cash because there are a couple things wrong with the car I'm going to talk about right now. But before talking about it, let's just take a quick walk around the car, give it a kind of a quick once over. It's a 2003 18-year-old car, so obviously it's going to have some flaws, which I'll talk about in just a second. But it does have the aftermarket wheels. They're 20-inch. I do think that really does make this car. I've seen these cars with the stock wheels, and I don't find them as quite as impressive. But it's a nice looking car. I like the silver. It's a good color for this car, and I like the quad exhaust on the back. It's just got a good look to it. Well, you will notice that there is a battery tender going into the trunk. That is because this car actually has two batteries. There's one up front that starts the car, and then there's one in the trunk that handles all the electronics on this car, and trust me, there's a lot of electronics. The guy I got it off of was actually a dealer, very nice guy. He told me everything he knew about the car, and he had recently replaced the alternator and the rear battery, thinking that was the issue, but it's not the issue. The rear battery goes dead almost immediately. There's definitely a big draw on it, so I'm gonna have to take this car to Mercedes. It's actually going tomorrow down to Modesto Mercedes and see if they can figure out what the draw is and fix that, and hopefully it won't cost an arm and a leg. I'm kind of keeping the camera like in front of me as opposed to getting in there because of the microphone and everything like that. It's a whole technical thing. But okay, there is the engine bay. It could stand to be cleaned up a little bit, but you see that supercharger sitting there on top. And that is another issue that I'm having with the car. So I drove it home from Sacramento, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive. It drove great, drove fine. I had to step into it one time to kind of get out into traffic, but that was about it. But after I got home, I got a little open stretch of road, and I decided, I'm going to step into it a little bit, just see what it'll do, punch it out, stretch its legs. And I noticed that after considerable acceleration, it started just dogging out on me, and it felt like I lost a supercharger boost, which I've had that feeling before when I had the issues with the Lightning. So I started doing a little research on it, and yes, this is suffering from heat soak. A lot of heat underneath this this hood when you drive this car. So what I've done is I bought a new intercooler pump, and supposedly it's supposed to produce like 50% more cooling. That should be in hopefully in a few days. I think that's something Eddie can fix, so we'll try that and see if that fixes the problem. If not, probably have to stick a new intercooler on it and get that going. But you know, when the car runs, it runs really strong. It runs really good. And the great thing about these cars is just with a simple pulley swap and a very slight tune, you can actually make about another 100 wheel horsepower. Now, another thing that I'm going to end up doing to this car is probably getting new tires. I like the 20-inch rims. They look really good, but this is just such a thin sidewall tire. I think it's a 20 or 25 series. I want to go up one series in the back and fill out a little bit of this fender gap. Now, this does have the adjustable suspension that goes up and down. Right now it's down as low as it will go. So I definitely want to do that. So I'll probably put new tires all the way around. You can see the brakes have been definitely upgraded, and it needs a little bit of cosmetic work. I'll show you that. Come around to the back there, and you can see there's a little chip there. I don't know if I'll have that fixed. It's not really a big deal. I mean, it's got a few little flaws going around it, but like I said, it is an 18-year-old car. The biggest thing that I'm having the problem with that I do want to get fixed is that right there. That took a little bit of a hit, got crunched up, so I want to get that fixed and get the whole front bumper repainted. You know, there's a few little flaws here and there, but overall it's actually pretty clean. Interior wise, you can see the faux wood and leather. They are heated seats, massaging seats as a matter of fact. The bolsters will tighten up on you, and it's got a lot of adjustments with that little button down there and then these little buttons here. And you know, inside's a nice place to be. It's very elegant. There's actually a little bit more room than the XLR because you have some room back there. Fairly nice stock sound system. Like I said, it's supposed to go to Mercedes tomorrow. Then after that's fixed, get Eddie to fix that intercooler pump, get the cosmetics done, some tires, things like that. So it's going to be a little project that I will take you guys along for the ride with. I'm going to take you for a ride in it, even though it is having the issue with like the intercooler and stuff like that. When it's cool, it runs the way it's supposed to, and I don't think I'm hurting anything by driving it and stepping on it once or twice just to show you guys what it'll do. And then of course, once we do the modifications and stuff like that, well, I should say the changes, not modifications. Modifications, I want to be clear on that. Just the changes that I'm planning to do. Then, like I said, we'll revisit this car, assuming it does stick around. I think it will stick around, but you never know with me. So, process, it has the old-fashioned key. Can you believe that? It doesn't even have push-button start. But put your foot on the brake, put the key in. So, and like right now, it's saying my electric consumers are offline because the battery it's just not holding the charge. Now we checked the battery, it's definitely not the battery. Something is draining this car. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm sure Mercedes will figure it out. This is a common problem on these cars. And you know, you guys might remember I had the BMW, probably should have kept that. I had the other Mercedes that I thought blew the heater core. Turned out it wasn't the heater core, it was just a hose. I talked to the new owner the other day. He sent me a message, said he's loving the car, he got everything fixed, everything's working great. So probably should have kept that one, but this is definitely a big step up from that CLK 500 that I had. Hardtop convertible, and you know, about almost 200 more horsepower, so definitely a different animal altogether. Plus, again, I told you guys I'm kind of quirky with the way I am, and right now I have two turbo cars in my Kia and my Cyclone, and now I'm back to two supercharged cars with my Lightning and this, so it evens out. I know it's quirky, it's weird, but yeah, let's go for a little drive. Now right now, with that battery not working, I don't get a lot of the conveniences, like my tilt telescopic doesn't work on the wheel, the top won't go up and down. It kind of cuts back just to the basics of the car. Doesn't affect the way the car drives, but it cuts back your power goodies and your fun stuff like that. Stereo still works, windows still work. Something I've noticed about this car, and it might be a quirk, it might be because of the battery situation, I don't really know, but something I've noticed is that sometimes, like, I shut the vehicle off and one of the windows goes down and I've got to roll it back up. I don't know if that's a common thing. Maybe another Mercedes owner out there can chime in and tell me, but it's kind of quirky. But the car rides nice. It reminds me a lot of the XLR and the way it rides. I think it's very similar. You know, it wasn't too bad to drive it home from Sacramento. I did use the massaging seats, which basically just adjust your bolster, lower and upper a little bit here and there, and kind of fluctuates and everything like that. It's not like these little fingers that are massaging you, which is kind of a bummer, but I guess it's probably a good thing because, you know, I don't want people falling asleep at the wheel. Okay, let's hop out in front of this truck and get into it just a little bit. Very smooth power delivery too. When you really step on it, it definitely will light the tires up first. Second, gets a little squirrely sometimes. It actually hooked pretty nicely there and went pretty good. But yeah, you can see it's got a definite good rush of acceleration. And I can only imagine doing a pulley swap and getting another like 50-100 horsepower, because there's a number of different pulleys you can do. And see, it adjusted my camera there a little bit. But I don't think I'm going to do that with this car. I mean, it's all stock, it's fast enough, you know, it's kind of fun just the way it is. So I'm going to be adventuresome here, and for the very first time turn off traction control and see what happens. A little bit of a clear. Oh yeah, this car's fast. This car is very fast. I mean, when you consider a 4,200 pound car that moving out like that, this car, it goes. It definitely goes. So, yeah. Makes me a little happy. I just, hopefully it's not a money pit and I haven't gotten myself in too deep here. Because I'm not well versed with, you know, foreign cars and things like that. And I know a lot of people would not consider this like an exotic car. Me, I do, because it's such a far cry away from a lot of what I've had. But it's definitely not like a Lamborghini or a McLaren or a Ferrari. You know, maybe someday, I've always said no, but maybe someday if the right deal comes along, I might step into something like that, because I'm starting to get more into this. I noticed, like, looking at Audi R8s and really thinking that they're a very beautiful design and a beautiful setup. And it's just, I don't know, my tastes are changing a little bit. That doesn't mean that I'm going away from my bread and butter. That doesn't mean that I'm going away from my muscle cars and my older cars and things like that. No, I still have all those, and there are some that I'm going to keep forever. But this is fun. This is a fun change, I guess. So let me know what you think. Give me your comments down below. I always love to hear them, read them. I always try to respond to every comment. And, you know, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. P.O. Box, Instagram in the description below. And guys, God bless. Take care. Have an absolutely amazing day.